So I just woke up. I'm recording this at 6 in the morning, and I'm just wondering why. Why go out into the world today and push out a full day's work when I've been doing that for the last 5 years? It doesn't seem to work. Nothing seems to work. Nothing about this situation feels like it's working. I mean, I pay 25% of my wage to the government as a tax. I pay about 30% of my wage as rent, food expenses, insurance expenses, vehicle expenses. It all adds up, and at the end of the month, it's all gone. Everything I work for just simply disappeared. And I am, in fact, slowly going backwards. And the only kind of reassurance I have is that I've been smart and I've invested my money wisely into different things like silver, which is spiking because the dollar is dying. It's not that silver is necessarily more valuable, it's that the dollar is being devalued. And it was about 4 years ago now that I really started to pay attention. It was when my rent went up 30% when I got my lease renewal in the mail. And I started saying, okay, I see now. What happens at the top absolutely affects me. And when I started paying attention, I just started noticing that all of these crises were popping up. First, it was education. I noticed the teachers seemed to be having all kinds of problems. I remember being on YouTube a few years ago and seeing how many teachers were quitting en masse because they were being treated like garbage and they were being paid like garbage. And they said they didn't want to do it anymore and they went on to do other things. And then I really started looking at the money stuff. It's basically all being funneled toward the top. I mean, seriously, the top 20% of households, when it comes to net worth, now hold 90% of our country's wealth. 90 fucking percent. That is 1/5 of people have 9/10 of the wealth. Do you have any idea how insane that is? And this is not an organic situation. This is not a situation that has arisen out of coincidence or chaos or anything of the sort. This is a contrived situation. This was a conceived situation. This is like building a Formula One car, a high performance system that is designed for one goal in mind, which is a race to the fucking bottom. That was intentional, and it continues to be the case. And we all have to wake up and realize that these people at the top who are creating the system are literally mentally ill. They have a kind of greed that we've only seen in the worst people in history. The kind of people that have $500 million, $1 billion, $100 billion, and they are willing to further degrade and destroy our society and push people under the water so that they fucking die for more fucking money. And I'm just wondering when we are going to wake up to this, because it is so glaringly obvious. I mean, the last 4 years was the kind of authoritarian hell that we are all desperately trying to avoid. We just went through it with the mandates, with the printing of money, devaluing of our currency like they did in mass. We are all now suffering because of it. And all that money that was printed went straight to the top. And now every dollar that we make has been devalued to the point where we cannot afford to live. And you see these greedy assholes doing all kinds of unprecedented shit now. These corporate executives are now donning uniforms and joining the military, for example. They are now threatening their workers to replace them with AI to get them to work even harder than they already are. And I look out there into the world and I see people working really damn hard. I see people working 50, 60 hours a week, myself included, and going nowhere. Not being able to afford a house, not being able to afford to have kids. And what's the whole fucking point of life anyway? You get to a certain age and you're just sitting there wondering, what am I gonna do for the next half of my life? No kids, no house. What, you just gonna sit in a little boxable house, work every day, take your little electric scooter to your position at some huge fucking corporation and have a fucking drone give you a ticket because it scans your face and it caught you jaywalking one time? You're just gonna do that till you're in your box one night and you decide it's better to just brains out than to continue doing this dystopian bullshit any longer. That's where we're going. I'm telling you, these people at the top, it is never enough. And one day when they've extracted every last penny from you, they're going to push you over the edge for more. You will not be able to handle it. There will come a day you will not be able to take it anymore. They will run us into ruin for more because it's never enough. These are people with hundreds of millions of dollars who continue to force issues like going to war, lobbying our government, making it a worse and worse system so that they can extract their pound of flesh, so that they can reach that billionaire status. What, $300-400 million isn't enough? Like in the case of these psychopaths that are now joining the military, they're basically corporate executives, a suit underneath, a uniform on the outside. Like goddamn chameleon infiltrators that are going in there so that they can just become the person they want to lobby. They don't have to lobby. They don't have to wine and dine anymore. They just are that person. And our government is allowing this to happen. Our military is allowing this to happen. The people in the highest positions of our society are just allowing and rolling over for these corporations. They're just allowing them to do whatever they want. What is going on? Seriously, the wealth disparity in this country is going to reach a point where people are going to have no choice but to revolt. And I'm here for it. Seriously, I'm at the point now where I say, let's completely wipe the slate clean and start over. Let's do a rollback. Let's roll the laws back to about 30 years ago and implement a whole bunch of new laws on the people in power to make sure that those positions are no longer sought by these sociopaths, these narcissists, these psychopaths, these horrible fucking people. The worst 5% of humanity is who is gunning for these positions so that they can become billionaires. Look at Nancy Pelosi. Look at her net worth. She's made a career out of politics. She's made hundreds of millions of dollars through insider trading. She has done so much illegal shit and just simply lied to our faces about it. It's insane. And they're all like that. And now what really fucking pisses me off is that it seems like most of them are pedophiles too. They're literally kids and they're still doing it and there's no accountability for it. And we're all trying to decide whether we're going to feed our children or if we're going to pay our rent. When is enough enough? Let's get rid of them. Let's remove these people. Let's vote them out. If that's what we want to do and wait a certain period of time. Let's just vote new, no matter who. High turnover rate. We need to make these positions not worthwhile for these people. Why not do something like set an income cap? Say, if you're going to be a senator, then no matter what happens, you cannot make more than $300,000 a year. We're going to take a full accounting of all your assets before you go into office, and we're going to take a full accounting afterwards. And we're going to be auditing you every year and seeing what income that you've made. And if you make over $300,000, we remove it. 100% tax goes to a charity. Why don't we impose term limits on people in Congress? Why don't we remove all the laws in the rollback that have allowed people to be lobbied? Why don't we remove the super PAC ordeal, which allows these corporations to heavily influence politicians by contributing secretly to their campaign funds? That used to be illegal. And now we repealed the law that made that illegal. All so that these corporations can keep jacking up our system to funnel all the money to themselves. Because that's what's happening. When you look into what is going on right now and why you're so poor, it's because the value that you create is being removed from you as a matter of percentage in everything that you do. Your income is taxed. You're taxed on the house that you own. You're taxed when you purchase things. And in theory, all that money is supposed to be going back into the system that you're a part of and contributing to your life and making it easier for you to make more money. But instead, what is happening is it is just being spent frivolously. I mean, look at the Pentagon, where these tech executives are donning uniforms. They have failed their audit like 7 years in a row now. There's like $500 billion that isn't just wasted. It's literally unaccounted for. They can't tell us where it's even gone. It's not like they put it into a bunch of planes and tanks and then those got blown up or destroyed or something or have eroded over time. They literally can't tell us where it is. You have these massive asset managers that are going global, based in the US, with everybody's money. These are the high yield savings accounts that everybody has been putting their money into over the last 40 years. Your Vanguard account, your BlackRock account, they're buying ports in the Panama Canal. They're sinking their teeth into the politicians of Ukraine and establishing a foothold there. They seem to be close to every major fucking problem that our country has. And the CEO of BlackRock, Larry Fink, even said, it doesn't matter who wins the election. We're going to make money either way. And you know why he said that? And you know why it's true? Because they get in there and they tell these people what they're going to do. The whole political sphere is a fucking theater now. It is simply there to keep us content, keep us thinking that we have some level of control, that we know what's going on. We don't. Red or blue, it doesn't matter, because there's another party out there called the Black Party, the corporate party, the BlackRock, the Blackstone, the Black Swan, whatever you want to call it. They're out there and they're making moves in the background all the time. Like Palantir. The government is now infused with Palantir. Think about this. A private sector designed AI now has complete and total access to all information in the government. Do you know how crazy that is? They have your tax information, they have your health records, they have everything on you, your criminal records, because it's in the DOD now. It's in the NHI, it's in the NSA, it's in the IRS. That's what Elon did. Thanks, Elon. Thanks for putting that in there. Creating this massive fucking fire hose of everybody's information that'll be compiled and assimilated in a fashion that will completely remove all fucking obscurity that we've been able to rely on. The one thing that we've had, an asset for the people, to not be completely and fucking utterly controlled and dominated by the government thus far. And just wait until they find an automation for the enforcement mechanism of this. Because you've been hiding, you've been doing something that they deem wrong for some time now. And now they're gonna see you. And it's only a matter of enforcement. It's only a matter of sending a drone with a gun on it to your house and telling you to come outside. And then there's some other robot that's gonna put handcuffs on you and put you in a self-driving car and drive you down to the prison so that they can use you as prison labor and completely and utterly fucking ruin your life. When is enough enough? Look at the trajectory we are on. Look at what we used to have. I think that's what pisses me off more than anything. We used to have it good. And there is no physical reason why we can't have that again. We need to wake up. We need to realize every person at the top right now has been corrupted. The system corrupts. There's too much power. These people go in there, maybe some of them, maybe the person you voted for does have good intentions, but over time, it's a matter of fact that these people end up just gunning for themselves and just making the problems worse. We need to start over. We need to vote new no matter who, or we need to remove these people by force, which I don't want to do. Nobody does. That's ugly. But at the same time, people are struggling more and more. It's getting to the point where something needs to happen soon. And we need to stop taking these handouts. We need to stop taking the easy route. We need to start making the hard decisions and stop taking the path of least resistance. Because that path of least resistance is only less resistance in the current moment. Because that path of least resistance is only less resistance in the short term. In the long term, we are increasingly finding ourselves in a position of slavitude. We are all becoming cogs in a machine built to service the top 20%, the top 10%. I've met a handful of people in my life, kids growing up, young adults now, who are literally set to inherit tens of millions of dollars, and they don't know what they're doing. They haven't grown up. They haven't even faced any kind of adversity and built any kind of character. I mean, seriously, for those of you who know these kinds of people, think about the kind of people that they are. And those are the people who are set to inherit all of the money in the country. And I feel bad for them. I really do, because some of them are set to inherit so much money and they don't know what they're doing. They're going to get ripped apart, man, because there's sharks out there. And the next generation of criminal, degenerate sociopaths are going to rip it away from them, and they're going to be at the top ruling us within the next 2 decades. The system doesn't work. It's broken. It's deeply flawed. It once worked. It was once great, and we can return to that. We absolutely can, but not without some kind of a plan, not without some kind of a strategy or a vision. And I'll tell you my vision. My vision is we roll back the laws, which means we go back to a previous point in time and we say, we're going to move forward from this point in time with the laws from that point in time. Let's just say 2000. Hell, let's say 1990. It's not so different that it's hard to comprehend, and that would remove a lot of bad laws. And then we set the bar for these people in power and make it impossible for them to do the wrong thing, or at least make it extremely unprofitable to go ahead and campaign and be in government for years, and then for them to lobby. Just take it all away. Take away their ability to make ungodly amounts of money. We set in a whole bunch of new rules. It could be passed in one bill. We come up with every rule we can think of and just pass it. Force them to pass it, because they'll all be new people in a system that's not a swamp, a tangled web of nooses on one another. Because that's what it is. Everybody at the top has dirt on one another. Everybody at the top is in one big gang where if one of them falls, they all fall because they start talking. That's what this Epstein thing is. These pedophiles, this absolute pedophile ring. We're looking at state governors, state representatives, state senators, presidents, probably even Supreme Court justices that are fucking pedophiles. And I think that at the top, this is a well-known thing. I think that if you were to become a senator and you spend a few months in DC, you would eventually learn about this kind of thing. And at that point, they would have something on you and you would shut up, and then you would be getting lobbied from a million different angles, having people tell you, we can either ruin your life, or we can pay you $10 million a year. Because the saddest part is, if I were in that position, if any normal person were in that position, we would probably become corrupted. Look past Trump. Trump's just the gate guardian of this whole pedophile shit. He needs to go to prison. He needs to be hung, honestly, for that. A lot of them need to be hung. But at the end of the day, it's the system. The system is so deeply flawed. It allows for the corruption to spread like a plague. So we need to hit the reset button, roll back, and iterate. Let's take the principles of engineering here and make this thing better. Improve upon it. This system does work. It took America from 13 colonies on the eastern shore to the world's most powerful nation in 200 years. I mean, seriously, it's a superpower speed run. The system works. It's just not working now because it's been completely fucked up. It's all about the policy. It's all about the rules. And right now, the rules have shaped the system into a funnel, and it is funneling money straight to the top. We just need to hit the reset button. That's all we need to do. Hard reset. Roll it back to the 90s, man. I'm telling you. And then we iterate. We make improvements. We take away the ability for people in power to make money. And I know I'm kind of going in circles at this point, but I can't stress this enough. This would be a great solution. And we have a huge amount of national debt. There's a lot of people with good ideas on how to deleverage that situation to get us out of debt and start running a surplus. I've seen it here on YouTube. I've thought about it. It seems worthwhile. We can fix these issues. We really can fix these issues, and I don't think it would take long. If we got people in office that were intelligent and moral and good people, we could go back to the way things were, and we could all stop looking at these goddamn nostalgia videos on YouTube that have become just so increasingly painful to watch. I mean, seriously, have you seen those videos where it's playing the kids at the playground track in the background and some kind of xylophone or something? And there's a reason why those videos get so many views. I look at them myself and I'll sit there and watch them and I'll be like, damn, yeah. No, it's nice to remember. It's nice to think about the past. I'd rather live in the past inside my head than the present. And it just doesn't have to be this way. It doesn't. When we start making intelligent, rational decisions and start making real change, it can turn around lightning fast. Just like having a disease in the body and taking a medication, it can turn around overnight. Maybe not overnight in this case, like a medication, because the organization takes some time, and these things, of course, we're going to face resistance at some level, but we can do it. We can absolutely do it. And there doesn't have to be any violence at all in order to do it. This is a democracy, right? If enough people want something, that's simply what's going to happen. And from what I can tell, I think most people just want to work and provide value to society and raise children and live a modest life. And when that has become too much to ask for, in my mind, that is the time. That's when you know it's time to make a change. Because it used to be the case that a single person with a single job could afford a decent house, a car, 2 kids, and be saving for retirement. And now that's gone. We have 2 people working in an apartment, 3 jobs apiece, and barely getting by, signing up for gigs on their smartphone so that they can go make just enough. It doesn't have to be this way. It doesn't. Start thinking about why it is this way. Start thinking about how it can change. Seriously, because it can. There are clear reasons that these things are happening the way they are, and there are clear solutions for those reasons. Anyways, guys, I'm going to leave it there for now, but please start looking at these things, and please try not to adopt the mindset that I've seen so much that there's just nothing we can do about it, because there absolutely is. I've been paying attention to everything for the last 4 years, and the common denominator is the government. They're allowing this to happen, and they're doing it because the corporations are paying them. It's that simple. So I'll leave it there. See you guys in the next one.